You said yes, even though everything in you wanted to say no. Someone asks for a favor. You smile. You say, "Of course." Then hours later, you're exhausted, overwhelmed, maybe even a little resentful, not because helping was the problem, but because disappointing them felt impossible. Why is it so easy to abandon yourself, yet so difficult to disappoint someone else? The answer has less to do with kindness and more to do with something your mind learned long before you ever noticed it. And once you see it, you'll never hear the word yes the same way again. For many people, people-pleasing doesn't begin in adulthood. It begins quietly, in childhood, when being the good child earned praise, when staying quiet avoided conflict, when making everyone else comfortable felt safer than expressing how you really felt. Little by little, your brain begins connecting your worth with how useful you are to other people. Love slowly becomes something you earn instead of something you deserve. And that's where the pattern begins. Without realizing it, you stop asking, "What do I need?" and start asking, "What do they need from me?" At first, it looks like kindness. You answer every call. You always show up. You rarely ask for anything in return. People admire you. They call you dependable, selfless, easy to be around. But there's something people rarely talk about. Every yes you don't truly mean leaves something behind. A quiet resentment. Not because you're selfish, but because somewhere inside, you know you've ignored yourself again. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to know exactly who to ask for a favor? They don't ask everyone. They ask the person who struggles to say no. Over time, your constant availability becomes expected. Not because people are always trying to take advantage of you, but because you've unintentionally taught them your boundaries always move, and eventually you begin to disappear. You remember birthdays, you check in, you encourage, you listen, you become everyone else's safe place. Yet when you're the one struggling, you don't know who to call, because while you've spent years building a home for everyone else, you never built one for yourself. Here's something worth remembering. A relationship that only survives because you never say no isn't testing your kindness, it's testing your silence. Healthy relationships don't become stronger because one person sacrifices everything. They become stronger because both people feel safe enough to be honest, to say, "I can't. Not today. I'm not comfortable with that." Without believing they've failed someone. Maybe that's what real kindness looks like. Not saying yes to everyone, but saying yes honestly. Because every time you ignore your own needs, you quietly teach yourself that everyone else's life matters more than yours. But your needs, your time, your peace were never meant to come last. So the next time you're about to say yes, pause. Just for a second. Ask yourself one simple question. If guilt wasn't part of this decision, what would I choose? You might be surprised by the answer, and maybe that's where healing begins. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear your story. What's one time you said yes when every part of you wanted to say no? Share it in the comments. Someone reading your experience might finally realize they aren't alone. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday human behavior, subscribe to The Bubble Minds, because sometimes the smallest patterns reveal the biggest truths about who we are.